Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you all. So it is 6:02 p.m. and I'm calling this meeting of the Youth Council to order. Jack will be joining us. He started sailing practices this week, so he's on his way back from school, which is pretty cool. All right, so I'm just going to check the agenda and make sure I'm doing everything right. Okay, so we're going to do attendance. So if you could just say here when I call your name. So Jack is coming late. I'm here. Anthony.
Here.
Alyssa.
Here.
I don't think Megan is here. I didn't see her. Nick is going to be late, I believe. Summer.
Here.
Uma. Okay, no Uma. Yana.
Here.
Emanuela. Emanuela's here.
Sure, yeah.
Maggie. No Maggie. Jenna.
Here.
Awesome. William.
Here.
Ali.
Here.
And Thomas.
Here.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. So I need a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting that was on March 26th. So do I have a motion to do that?
I motion.
Awesome. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right, now I'm going to call the roll. So myself, yes. Alyssa.
Yes.
Megan's not here. Nick is not here. Summer.
Yes.
Uma is not here. Yana.
Yes.
Emanuela.
Yeah.
Maggie. She's not here. Jenna.
Yes.
And William.
Yes.
Awesome. So the motion passes. Okay. Oh no, I lost the agenda. Okay, so how was everybody's break? I feel like it's been forever since we've met. I know our seniors have some news for us, which is cool. So Catherine, were you gonna
I
say
just wanted to
something?
remind you, we have public comments too.
Oh, thank you. I completely missed that. I'm sorry. So we're gonna go back. We do have some members of the public here. So if anyone wishes to speak, now is your chance. Anybody? All right.
Oh, I'll just say just one quick thing. I just want to thank you guys for all your hard work that you've been putting in for many of the issues in Wakefield. And I just, for those of you guys who are going off soon, I wish you guys the best of luck. And again, thank you for all your work.
Awesome.
Oops,
Thank you so
sorry,
much.
I missed that part.
It's okay. No worries. Thank you for saying that. All right. Any other public comments? All right. I'm seeing none. So now we can talk about our breaks. So I know our seniors, I guess we'll wait for Jack for those announcements, but did anybody do anything fun? I know I caught up on a lot of sleep, which was much needed. So anybody want to tell us what you did?
I went to see my sister at college up at Cornell.
Be fun. I've never been up to Ithaca where that is, but I've heard it's really pretty there. And I know I saw some pictures.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty.
Awesome. Anybody else? Catherine, how was your break?
It was good. I didn't take a break, but I was excited to hear that Summer is just coming from her vaccination. So it's nice to see some of our youth council members getting your vaccinations out there. So, that's a good, as we're encouraged, I was thinking about ways that we can kind of promote youth getting vaccinated, and maybe we can do a promotion of youth council members that have gotten vaccinated.
That's a
So-
good idea.
Yeah. We can totally talk about that at the outreach meeting.
That'd be great.
I got my vaccine today too. Since we're talking about it, I'm very excited.
I just got my second dose, so I'm like,
Oh, that was your second dose.
yeah, it was.
Now, Summer, 2 weeks from now, you'll be all good. Yeah, I'm getting my second dose on Friday, which is very exciting. It's a great feeling when you don't have any symptoms. It's great. So that's very exciting. Does anybody else want to talk about their break? Anybody? All right. Okay. Okay, so next on the agenda is that we have a Safe Routes to School presentation and discussion. So I believe we have somebody here, Miss Crocker. Hello, thank you so much for coming. And
Oh, my pleasure.
I believe you have the ability to share your screen if you're going to do that. So take it away.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I hope you find what I'm going to talk about tonight interesting. Catherine, it's nice to finally see your face. And Summer, and I've actually been also working with Maggie on this project. So it was brought to Safe Routes' attention that some people and some members of the Youth Commission found some problematic walking and biking issues between Woodville Elementary and the Galvin. So that's where I come into play. So my name is Judy Crocker. Please call me Judy. Mrs. Crocker is my mother-in-law. I try to separate us. Anyways, I work for the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, and it's Safe Routes to School program. So Safe Routes to School is actually an international program. It started in Denmark. It's in about 45 countries. In the US, it's in all 50 states. So the parent organization is the Department of Transportation. Thus, I work for the Massachusetts Department of Transportation. It is federally funded, which means I'm your taxpayer money at work. So everything we do is free. The focus of the program is really exercise, safety, and fostering a sense of community. What we try to do is bridge the gap between health and transportation. We work with public and public charter because we're taxpayer money. We can't work with private schools. K through 8 programming. The reason we don't deal with high schools specifically, unless your high school has an 8th grade or other younger grades associated with it, is that that is for the Department of Transportation. That's how they define safe routes, grades K through 8. So that's where we are. The foundation of the program, it's based on public health, and it's called something called the 6 E's. And I'm not going to get too heavy into those tonight. I mean, we could talk another 20 minutes just about what the program is. We have a very large toolbox. It is not one size fits all. It really depends on what your community needs. So if you're going through redistricting, or you have too much parent traffic, if you have new school start times, you're building a new school, there's all different ways that we can try to help. We're very, as I say, very deep toolbox. We also just don't work with schools. We actually work with everything that we do has to be based out of the schools. However, we also work with the community, such as the Youth Commission, such as the Wakefield Safe Streets Working Group, the local Y, etc. But we also deal with municipal government. So if you think of it, when all of you get up tomorrow morning and you go from home to school, okay, you are going through public property. You're going through your neighborhoods to get to school. So that part of where we go from home to school and then back home again, we call that a walk audit. And what we're doing is that we're looking at the infrastructure. We're looking at, you know, what is it like to walk or bike to school from your perspective, okay? And the program does focus on walking and biking. We call that active transportation. You might have heard that term before. But it doesn't mean that we also don't deal with however you get to school, because at the end of the day, we just want you to be safe. So if you're taking a school bus, we deal with a little bit of that on the circulation plan for your school, and also the parent traffic. So we work, try to keep parents safe. We try to keep faculty and staff safe, and of course, the students. So anyway, so a walk audit is what your neighborhood looks like from your perspective, getting to and from school. The second type of engineering that we do is what we call an arrival dismissal observation. So I just completed one of those for the Woodville, and I will be starting one for the Galvin. And what those look at, it's the end of the day, guys, is what your school property looks like. How do you use your school property? Do you separate your modes of transportation? Okay. How do you use your front door? What message are you sending by how you use your front door? Do you have the school buses and walkers and bikers to go to your front door? Do you have the parents and their vehicles go to the front door? Those kind of things. What kind of signage do you have on school property? Signage gets a little funky because it has to be regulatory in order for the police to enforce it. So those are some of the overall things that we do under our engineering hat. So again, Safe Routes has a public health foundation. What we're going to talk about tonight is a little bit of really urban planning. So it's a very broad program, and we're just going to touch on some different things. So I just wanted any questions? I just wanted to kind of give some background for what we're going to be looking at tonight. We're good?
I have to ask one question because
Sorry, like my phone started playing something. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't, was that a question?
No, sorry. My someone called me.
Oh, okay.
I realized I was on mute.
Okay, no worry. Okay, patience, please. It says I cannot share, the host has to allow me to share my screen. So I can't share my screen.
Okay.
Try again.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. All
Thank you, Catherine.
right, can everyone see that? Can everyone see this? Yes, okay, okay, thanks. All right, okay, so, oops, this report's a little bit long, and I'm not gonna go through all of the detail here, but again, this is kind of an overview, and this is, for example, just one of the reports that we do. So this, again, it involves a little bit of the Woodville and a little bit of the Galvin. So we did this in February. I took 2 walks. Maggie and your group actually came with me representing you folks and talked about the Galvin. We spent about an hour walking around. And the principal, Colin Tooney, I don't know quite how to pronounce his name, I apologize. I was not able to come, but, and everyone else came for the Woodville Nahant Street part of the walk. So you can see it was a little chilly, but that's okay. We all go to school in rain and snow. So here we go. So some overall observations, we kind of look at the school zones and we look at the neighborhoods. So we're looking at the type of signage you might have. One thing that I noticed that was nowhere in the community of Wakefield is no idling signage. So it's actually the law. If you idle more than 5 minutes in most of Massachusetts, you can get a ticket. We're all looking for clean air these days, and vehicle traffic is a major contributor. At the Woodville, a lot of people did not follow the no parking signs, and staff had to put cones out, and they sometimes even ran over the cones. It was quite amazing. Excuse me. There was a lot of family traffic. It's such that it was larger. The queue line was larger than where it's supposed to be housed, which is right in front of the high school for arrival and dismissal. And a major difference is that your 2 schools have different crosswalk patterns and different colors. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. So this is just some background that we put in just for general reference for Wakefield. So your elementary school districts, you can see where the students are coming from, where they live. So this is kind of the fun part, guys. We're going to go through a lot of pictures. I like to think a picture tells 1,000 words, so always tells a story. So on your left, we have the woodwork. I love the fact that there's a bike rack, which is abandoned in the middle of winter, but you can see that no one has shoveled out the bike rack, so it would be pretty hard to use. I love all the bike racks that you have at the middle school. They all look great. And sometimes you're looking for, less obvious things. So the picture on the right is the Woodville Schools PTO magnetic sticker. And that shows me that you have a strong PTO. And when you have a strong PTO, because not every community or every school within a community does, it means that you have a lot of energy and you have a lot of people who are really willing to roll up your sleeves and help get things done. So that's always a plus. Looking at sidewalk conditions in general, they're not terrible, but most of the sidewalks are asphalt, and except for one stretch in front of the old Franklin School on Nahant, which is cement. But there was a lot of puddling. The puddling freezes. You have a lot of cracks and divots. Some root damage that, upgrades, uproots, makes bumps in the sidewalk, but not terrible. So I think you're all familiar with the Woodville, and you have 3 crosswalks in close proximity to each other. One, the middle one, which is on the left, is not what we call ADA compliant. So that means there's a curb that you have to go to from the crosswalk to the sidewalk. So if you had crutches or a stroller or a wheelchair, or even if you're vision impaired, it's more difficult to make that transition. So yes, and this is what we're looking at here. So, and it's interesting too that these crosswalks are painted green in the middle and then the 2 white stripes. So there's regulation about signage and pavement markings that is used by engineering. And the latest draft rendition that's coming out for an update suggests that we only use green paint for bike paths, which makes total sense. And so the Wakefield engineer is very aware of this, and so he was hoping to change these crosswalks anyways. On the picture on the right, you can see that's the group that we were with that day. Across the street from the high school, you can see on the left picture how the sidewalk plow, for some reason, took a left turn. And you actually had to walk in the street in order to get to the next sidewalk. So not sure why that happened, but it did. So just wanted to record that. You do have good school zone signage. A school zone is generally about 350 feet from the school property, which is not a lot of space, I'll be quite honest. Personally, I wish it were a lot larger. When you have a school zone and you have signage identifying the school zone, the law says that the speed limit has to be 20 miles an hour. So this is, it will be on your driver's test, I promise. And then I do like how you have a couple of speed table signs, electronic speed table signs. So this one on the right, I think is on Farm Street, coming from Water Street. This is, sometimes I might use a Google picture because I don't have a wide angle lens. And this, the Farm Street Nahant intersection, I'll be honest, is quite crazy. So on Nahant Street, where it meets Farm Street, you actually have 2, I don't know if you can see my cursor, there's one here and one here. These are called Pedestrian Islands. And this is where, because the road is so wide, these are put here, not for traffic, but for pedestrians and bicyclists to kind of, stay to make sure it's safe to get to the next section and so on and so forth. Whoops, when we went on our walk, these were snow covered and they were not plowed out. I was in the area about 2 or 3 days later when I went out with Maggie at the Galvin, and the town engineer had fixed all the problems that we saw with the snow. So that was very nice of him. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So he found this exercise very useful. So part of the problem though here in this stretch of roadway is that Farm Street is very wide. And at this particular intersection, it's very congested because this arrow here is for this crosswalk, which is so tight to this intersection. And you have, you can go left here, left turn lane, or you can go through traffic, go straight. And the opposite lane going toward the Woodward, it's 1 lane of traffic. However, but where the arrow is, this is the entrance for the high school. And oftentimes I observed the Woodville student, family vehicles were queued up so much that they actually spilled onto the roadway and would come up all the way up to about here. So, so it looks like you have 2 lanes of traffic here, but one is stopped. And when you're driving, you do not expect to see stopped traffic ahead of you. And it's very confusing if you see one line with brake lights and the other line is moving forward. So, And then the second area that I saw back up, particularly impeding this crosswalk, was the entrance into the Voc Tech School. So there's just a lot going on here. One of our recommendations was, quite honestly, it almost needs a traffic signal. So here we are on Nahant Street, and we're walking actually toward Farm on this left-hand picture. And you can see right here, that's one of those speed tables again, those electronic speed tables. And then right here is the school zone sign, but this hedge is kind of eating up the school zone sign. So one of my suggestions was just to cut back the shrubbery here. I think we've all been on sidewalks where the shrubbery really encroaches on the sidewalk and it's hard to get around. That's one of the things that we're looking for. So. And then going in the opposite direction, going toward, with your back to Farm Street, you can see that there's a crosswalk up here. It's very hard to see, but you have a crosswalk ahead sign, which is appropriate. And I love the reflective paint colors. This is a crosswalk sign. And this sign right here is on the right end of the school zone. And you can see the crosswalk here. So that's one problem when you're using that green paint. Some communities use blue, some use red. You know, it looks nice, but when the weather is overcast like this, it's very difficult to see. Okay, so here we are on Nahant Street again. And what we're looking at here is how there's one pole, but multiple signs are on one pole. So let's talk about the middle one. So you have a crosswalk sign and then 20 miles an hour is on the same pole. So, you know, is it okay to go 20 miles an hour? But you got to look for, you know, it's just very, very confusing. And the same here, watch out for children, but go 20. And then right here on this sign on the curb, it's actually a curve ahead, slow children, and no parking. Those are these three signs. So it's not really a best practice to stack your signs like that. Oh, and here you can see too, sorry to make you dizzy, the crosswalks here, it's what we call the standard crosswalk. It's only two white lines, two parallel white lines. So getting closer to the Galvin, this is that main intersection between Nahant Main and North Street. And again, you can see on the left how it's hard to get to the crosswalk because it's all snow covered. And here you have to, you know, climb through the snowbank just to get to, it's called a beg button, you know, a pedestrian light change button to get to that. And here we are at the Galvin, so on Main Street. So the difference here, you can see this crosswalk is one, it's extra wide, which is wonderful, but it's also, it's called zebra stripes or a ladder formation because, and it's very much easier to see, whether it's daylight, at night, raining, snowing, whatever it might be. This means it's American Disabilities Act, that's what ADA means, ramp that enters on both sides. So this means it's compliant for people with disabilities. And you've got the bus stop right there. So there's a lot going on. I can't see anybody. Do I still have everybody with me?
Yeah, they're all here.
Okay, all right. I just don't want to put anybody to sleep. So, okay. On the left here, you can see that at some point, this is one of those, because it is state law to yield to pedestrians, it's usually put in the middle of a street. And you can see a car took it out. So whenever you're at a school or any public building and you see, you know, I didn't stage this. This is exactly what it looked like in front of the Galvin at the time. There's a, you know, a sawhorse, there's a cone. This is the bottom of one of those reflective barrows and then a broken sign. So just interesting that it's called traffic calming when you're trying to use different tools in order to get traffic to slow down. And it's just interesting that they're all sitting there. In the bus lane, at least I assume it's the bus lane for the Galvin, it's interesting that you have this, again, love the ladder size or zebra crosswalk, but it leads to this is actually a no parking area, which borders a handicap spot. So it's rather confusing that you have this on top of this because they're the same pattern. So it's just, unusual to see this. And this here is one of the bus lanes on Main Street. So when you're on North Street and you're going, I guess, again, toward that main intersection away from the train station, there is one crosswalk, which principal tells me is well used. But from this angle, you can see this utility pole is obscuring the signage right here. And on this side, you can see that they forgot to plow out the crosswalk. So you're going through a snowbank in order to use the crosswalk. And there's a big ice puddle here. So that's what happens. So I appreciate that Maggie took me up to the intersection toward the train station. So you can see here at Armory Street, they didn't do a good job plowing. On Armory Street itself, this was kind of unusual because you have two crosswalks, literally probably 3 car lengths away from each other. So again, this sign is great, but what's wrong with this sign? This arrow is supposed to be pointing to the crosswalk. And for some reason, it's pointing, up at the stars. So a little unusual. But what I would like to see is to have these signs right here, because when you have, just 2 lines for a crosswalk and a stop line, Maggie was explaining to me that cars often stop up here, and we did see that quite a bit. And then here we have a parent actually picking up a student on Armory. So the next area we talked about was Richardson at North Street. And so the problem is this gas station. So from this angle, again, a better job plowing, getting through the sidewalk onto the street into the crosswalk. Lost my cursor. But the problem is the gas station itself. From here, it just looks like a sea of asphalt. And Maggie was explaining, and I actually spoke last night with the Safe Streets Working Group, and they totally agreed with everything that Maggie said. It's a very difficult area. And actually one of the members was actually on his bike about where that car is on the left on North Street. And he was actually clipped by a car. So it happens to everybody, I guess. So it's hard to see where the sidewalk is, and then the gas station itself versus the street. So one of the things I suggested that they do, besides put a ladder pattern in here, is put what we call a fog line. So sometimes you might notice on the side of a street, it kind of tells you where the borders of the street is, just to try to, again, separate or make clearer that this is a sidewalk and it's not just a curb cut to go into the gas station. Then we have the train. And then the last area we talked about was all the crosswalks that are in front of the train station. I think there were 5 crosswalks there. And when you're driving a car, and it's usually bumper to bumper there, people stop looking for pedestrians because this almost like crosswalk fatigue. This is so many back to back to back. So in my report, I did recommend eliminating 2 of the 5 crosswalks. So, all right. So the rest of this report this is how we kind of map it out. So it's easier for, say, the town engineer or DPW to look at. We actually, everything I just talked about verbally, we just put it on a map, and we just kind of, go like this. So it's easier to see. And we use a very basic guide based on colors. So this is very simple. Let me see. So again, we can just take this one on Woodville. So if this is the school right here, and this is the school driveway, let's say it has 3 crosswalks, this one and this one, but this one here, again, it's not user friendly, and there's no crossing guard there. The crossing guard's actually here and here. So we suggested that we get rid of that. Also, right here, this is the exit driveway from the high school, which is also used by Woodville parents. There's one stop sign, but there's actually 2 lanes of traffic. So you actually need a two stop signs, one on the left and one on the right. I did do a arrival dismissal observation at the Woodville. So I'm looking at circulation and everything right on the school property here. And believe it or not, one of the parents was leaving here, took a right-hand turn and T-boned another car. So, we have some visibility issues going on there. So luckily nobody was hurt except for the cars. And we did the same thing for Nahant Street and then around the Galvin. So, and then closer up to at Albion Street. And then we like to include some just basic, very high level recommendations about some of the other areas of work that we do that can kind of try to tie in. For example, we need a lot of parent education about how to drive in a school zone at the, I can't speak for the Galvin yet, but definitely at the Woodville. We can talk about pedestrian safety and bike safety. For example, for pedestrian safety, we talk about, usually geared towards 2nd and 3rd graders, we talk about sidewalk safety, crosswalk safety, and how to negotiate a parking lot. And then for bike safety, it's usually older kids, usually middle school, sometimes 4th and 5th graders. And we talk about personal safety, bike safety, and rules of the road. So, and then here are some just basic resources. If anybody's interested. We have Massachusetts bike laws. I hope everybody wears their helmet. The law does say if you're 16 or under, it's the law, but quite honestly, it should be for everybody. The Massachusetts hands-free law came out a year ago, February, and it means no being on the phone and holding any kind of phone device. Wait until you get home or pull over. The anti-idling law, it's different, and some communities have a stricter law than others, but generally Massachusetts, it's 5 minutes, et cetera, et cetera. So I was going to say, I went through that pretty fast because I wanted to be able to get it in. So too much to absorb. I wasn't sure, how you guys wanted to approach this.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I know, so Jack is here, but he said that his computer decided to update, so he's on his phone.
Oh,
So I'm still gonna be the chair for just a little bit. So thank you so much for all of that information. I feel like it's something that, I personally really overlooked it, and I've never thought about how important it was. And I feel like we're all kind of more aware, and I definitely think we're gonna talk about it with each other and with our parents and stuff, because it's super important. It's safety. And I also think, when I'm driving to school at the high school, it's going to be one of those things that I'm never going to look at the same, because it's just mind blowing how much needs to be improved. So thank you.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for Judy? Anybody?
Well, everyone seems to be awake, so that's probably a positive thing.
Well, I'm just excited that Maggie kind of came up with this as a concern for young people, reached out to you, and then you've already done this. This is exciting that this has already happened, that you've done this assessment with our town engineer, and there are already recommendations. And I just listening to those recommendations, I thought of 2 of our youth council members that could take some things forward. Like Ollie, you could do some work with the PTOs around parent education, and you could take that piece. And then Uma with the environmental sustainability committee with the anti-idling signage, like she could take that. And then Thomas with the health, like with there's a big connection with public health and everything here. So I think there's lots of opportunities to have the youth kind of put the pressure on these different folks to make sure this gets carried through. And then obviously Summer has done a lot of work with the safe streets.
Does any of your schools have the green team, the Department of Environmental Protection's green team? They usually do a lot of recycling, air quality. So I'll put a plug in for them. They're similar to Safe Routes to School, but they deal with recycling. They do a lot of gardening, so it might be, rain barrels to composting to gardening to, but also deal with air quality. So it's free. And if you sign up, if your school signs up, you can actually get free no idling signage, which, the town engineer and DPW would love it if you can get free signage, because then they only have to put it up and they don't have to figure out, how to finance it. So that's one example. So I talked a little bit about school zones, and you saw the difference between the crosswalk in front of the Woodville on Farm Street versus the one on Main Street and on North Street for the Galvin. So the town engineer really wants to make all the school zones, that was the conversation we had, uniform. So if you think about it, most communities, Wakefield included, you have what are called neighborhood schools. There are some communities that all the schools are kind of together on a campus. That tends to be more of a rural foundation or a regional school. But when you have schools that are throughout town, really in neighborhoods, you're driving along and you figure your town's only so big and you're going to drive 3 or 4 miles, you're going to come to another school, and then you're going to come to another school. So in terms of, making a driver think, there might be kiddos around, and, most kids, most fourth graders or third graders, they're not even as tall as a hood on an SUV. So it's cars are big these days. So it's helpful. It makes everybody more aware that, there might be kids around. There's going to be more foot traffic, more bike traffic, and, the speed limit is slower. So, be aware and just be alert. So those are a couple of the things working on. And one of the suggestions is for that at the Galvin, the crosswalk on Main Street that with the MBTA station is. So I recommended to the town engineer, you could put in, and you might have seen these before, what's called a rapid flashing beacon. So it's actually, you push the button, but instead of stopping the traffic, it's like a flashing light. And that means the traffic slows down. Sometimes even crossing guards, if there's a crossing guard there, they actually use it because it makes people even more visible, type of thing. So, so sometimes there's grant money out there, and they use reports like the one that I just reviewed with you to kind of give them some background information. So some grants are pretty quick. You need to fill them out in 3 or 4 weeks. And it's hard to start from scratch when it's one more thing kind of thing. So that's one of the ways that the reports are used.
Awesome. Thank you, Judy. Has anyone have any questions for her? I don't see anything. And thank you for coming, and thank you for coming to this meeting. I'm sorry, but the last meeting got canceled.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. I'm flexible. I was just going to say, so if the group thinks of any questions moving forward or anything, for example, if you're interested more in no idling, or you're interested more in, parent education or student education, if you go on to our website, and I can send it to Catherine for you. We have a big website. There's a lot of information there. If you go into education, we have flyers. Most of them are in 9 languages. We have things about arrival dismissal, so what you should do in a school zone, how you should drive in a school zone. Honestly, what to do during COVID for school transportation. That was a big topic last summer. So our document is up there. If you're interested in brushing up on your Spanish, if you are so inclined, we have a bike video, which is in English and Spanish. So for folks your age, I recommend, if you want to do really test your skills, listen to it and not in English. And, kind of quiz yourself. But again, most of our documents are in 9 languages and et cetera, et cetera. So it's been my pleasure. And I hope I didn't put everybody asleep, but.
Thank
Fun
you,
has the phone.
Judy.
Thank you, Judy.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Bye now. Take care.
Awesome. Thank you guys. I'm sorry I was a little late. We just got out of sailing practice. Thank you, Lauren, for chairing for a little bit. All right. So the thing we'll talk about is applications. So the applications close in 2 days. I hope if all of you guys who aren't seniors still want to join us next year that you guys have applied. I just want to say that Alyssa, Anthony, and I will be running the interview process and kind of deciding who we want to recommend to be on next week's youth council to the town council, who will eventually decide who are appointed as members. I just want to give you guys that little detail. So if you did apply, we'll reach out to you for interviews and we'll do like a public meeting or whatever where we talk and ask basic questions. So yeah, same Anthony, Alyssa, Catherine, anything to add to that?
If there's anything that any of you guys feel is important to ask people who we want to interview, just like shoot us a text or an email or anything, because we don't want it to just be us. We want the whole council to be able to have an input on what kind of people we're looking for.
Yeah, if you just email the youth council email, I can forward it to Alyssa and Anthony too. All right. Anything else? Okay, cool. So next thing, another town council thing. Me, Alyssa, Anthony, and Lauren and I are presenting to the council about like our year in review of what we've done over the past year. So I don't want to take up too much time now, but we just want to kind of brainstorm what we want to include at the next communication subcommittee meeting. We're going to be making the slides, so if you want to come to that too, you can do that as well. So anything they want to make sure is included. I know we'll probably put some of the thing. We worked with the police chief. We'll put some of that in there. We can do some environmental stuff. We did Safe for School, which you just came. We'll obviously do the logo, and we'll probably do a few other things. Anything else? Just if you feel anything else they want included. If you don't know, you can always come to the meeting on Wednesday. No, it's all good. All right. So next, I'm gonna call back on Lauren. We're gonna do a quick update from the mental health working group. So, Lauren.
Thank you. So the mental health working group, I'm gonna name everybody this time. So I'm the chair, and then Jack, Alyssa, Nick, and Ali and Yana are on it. I hope I got everybody. So we met with the high school staff at one of their professional development meetings yesterday at 2:00, and I think it went really well. There are a couple of glitches with the slides here and there, but otherwise we had a really productive discussion. I'm very glad and we're lucky that they were really receptive and open to the feedback, because it's not easy, and they weren't super happy results like the Galvin survey was. So we brainstormed some ideas of how teachers can connect with students, whether it's over Zoom or an email and stuff they can talk about. And just how those personal connections can really improve the mental health of students. So yeah, we were super lucky that they were really receptive to that feedback, had a great conversation. And then I think we're gonna try to still work closely with them in the future, especially where we're changing learning models again. This wasn't so this was a reactive response to the hybrid learning, but it's a proactive response to being fully in person. So it was really productive, and I'm glad we did it. I don't know if anybody else on the working group has anything to add, but yeah, so we'll keep you guys updated. I'm not sure what our next meeting will be, but if anybody wants to join, just shoot me or Jack an email. We'll get you on the working group.
Awesome. Thanks, Lauren.
Lauren, I just had a question. Did the Galvin staff ever get to see their results?
Yeah, so we had a meeting with them. Oh gosh, Alyssa, do you remember when it was? It was a while ago.
It was a while ago. We did have one though. I don't remember the date.
Yes, we did have one. And they were the same way, super receptive. So we met with the student support staff for the survey results. And And then that video, I believe, was sent out to the entire staff, the WCAT video, because we weren't able to put one together. And so I believe they did see that, but we weren't able to have a conversation with the full faculty.
Great work. Thank you.
Awesome. Next, I'm gonna call on Alyssa. A quick update from communications and outreach on what we've been doing, because social media has been pretty active, I've been seeing. So we'll call Alyssa.
Yes, we've been working on that. There was like a whole little flood of posts. So if you saw them and like shared them and stuff, thank you. So for those of you who might not have seen them, we did some posts on voter registration and encouraging people to get out and vote. I also posted a reminder about applications and all that super fun stuff. We featured some of our senior council members with our voting stickers to try and just be like, hey, we're voting, like you should too if you're registered. Things like that. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add.
Oh, I just have a quick update from the communications outreach committee regarding applications. So we got a segment featured about the youth council application in Get Up Galvin recently. So that's a good thing. So that's good promotion for the applications.
Oh, that's great, Ellie.
That's great. And Anthony, at the last minute, put together a nice blurb that got emailed out to both all the Galvin and high school students. So communications, you guys are doing a wonderful job.
Yes.
Thank you. And I'm hoping it's the end of April, so it's time for another newsletter. So hopefully I'll start getting another newsletter together for March and April within the next week or two. And I'm hoping that this time I can use some of that Adobe software, hopefully, that Jennifer showed me, and make it a little bit more, I would say, user-friendly.
Amazing. I've actually been to ask for newsletter updates. You were right before me, so great.
Before we move on, I know that we're planning to do some senior college announcements. So I think you guys need to, I think it would be fun to tell the rest of the council what your plans are, if you guys feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, I can go first. So next year I'll be going to American University in DC, and I'll be majoring in communications, legal institutions, economics, and government. It's like a little interdisciplinary major. So I'm really excited.
All right, I'll go. I'm also going to American, but I committed before Jack, and I'll be majoring in political science and maybe a minor in women's and gender studies.
And I, a week or two ago, recently committed to UMass Lowell. I'm staying local. And I also plan to major in political science, but I'm hoping to also major or double major and minor in economics, and maybe, if it's possible, have a minor in music as well.
Woo! Congratulations. Awesome schools. And I see, well, Jack, I'll let you. There's a hand.
Mayreen, Councilor Mayreen has her hand raised.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I can't put my camera on, but I just, this is always a great meeting, and thank you, whoever's doing your social media and reminding me how I could join. So whenever I can, I would love to join these meetings. And then I just wanted to take a moment and congratulate you seniors. I went to American for law school. So two of you, I'm super excited about that. And then to the student who's staying local, I also stayed local for undergraduate. So big fan of staying local and being close to where I grew up. The offer is out there as a town councilor. I'm so proud of the work that you guys have done. And as you go on to college, and those that are still in school, always reach out. We love to hear updates of how you are doing. For you that are studying government or political science or women's studies, please let us know how you are doing. We would love to hear about it. I can't help the music folks as much. So you might have to find another. Counselor Chines is actually went to Tufts University with me and was in marching band. So you can reach out to Counselor Chines about that. But congratulations, and so proud of all of the work that you guys have done, and really looking to the presentation at our next meeting about your year in review.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So does anyone have any liaison updates? I mean, does anyone have anything fun? Ali, anything happen with the PTO? Anything interesting?
Yeah, so I went to the PTO's meeting on March 29th, and they were talking about the full in-person return, and we had a presentation on motivating your unmotivated student. And the Youth Council newsletters have been posted to their social media and promoted on their newsletters, so that's always good. And the PTO also does a monthly newsletter. I just wanted to tell you all. And if you want me to ask the head of the PTO, Jen DeCourcy, to highlight anything, please just email me. And overall, the PTO is a valuable and important way for the Youth Council to communicate and promote various different ideas and things. And if you please email me if you want me to speak with the PTO about anything related to the Youth Council. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Ali. Anyone else have any updates?
I'll just kind of hop in and give an update because like town election, I don't know if we all want to just kind of update people on what happened with our committees and things, but there's going to be a new town councilor, Anne Danahy. I hope I said her name right. If you guys remember, she's the professor from BU who came and talked to us a while back about having like public forums and things like that. So that's town council update.
Yeah, Lauren, do you want to give an update on your new committee, how that was reorganized?
Yes, so the school committee elections, they were kind of all over the place because of the different like timing of the terms. So there are two new members. It is Amy Wall and Kevin Piscadlo.
Wait, and Stephen Ingalls and Amy Lehman.
Yes, exactly. I forgot them because they were uncontested. So there are 4 new members, which is super exciting. And I was thinking about having myself or Jenna reach out to them and seeing if the committee wants to come to our next meeting just to kind of introduce themselves, and then maybe we could do that with the town council too, so we can become more familiar with the new boards that we'll be working with.
It's a great idea. Since we've been working a lot with school issues, I think having all 4 new members come would be great. Maureen also has her hand up. Maureen, just an add to that. Or is it an accident hand raise? Anything's an accident hand raise. We'll skip through that. Okay, anyone else have any updates liaison wise? No. Okay, great. COVID update. Everyone here is 16 and older, get their vaccine. My vaccine card's right here. I got my first dose and my second dose on Saturday. So you all should sign up. Safe and effective way, and it'd be safer when you go back to school full in person. I highly recommend. And my only side effect, I had a little sore arm. That's it. Anyone else have their vaccine? Hand raise. Yeah. Nice. Look at all of us. Yo, you're
Yeah.
2 doses.
Summer got her second today. She came right from her second dose to this meeting. So
I rushed on over here.
publicity around it.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm Pfizer gang. I think we're all Pfizer because we were not old enough to get Moderna. Yes, I'm very happy, very excited. So yeah. Okay, so meeting date wise. Oh, anyone have any other updates on COVID or anything? COVID? No. Okay, great. Meeting date wise, we probably meet at the middle of May. Let me look for a date. Probably. Do we like this 6:30 in that time? Because since sailing starts, I'll probably have to do around 6:30. So would May 12th? No, May 19th at 6:30 probably this one. Oh wait, no, I have graduation then. What do you think? Would the Thursday work then? 'Cause I don't have any graduation stuff. So
What about
Thursday-
the week before, Jack? We could do, because then everyone's going to be wrapping up there.
Okay, so May 12th at 6:30. Does it work for everyone?
And it might just be a short meeting too.
Yeah, I don't assume much will happen because we'll have even So I'll put that in for May 12th, 6:30 for now. I'll put that in. And if something changes or happens, just let me know. Okay. Anything else we need to talk about?
I just wanted to add one thing before the meeting ended. I saw this thing that people are looking for more like diverse books and about Native American culture to put into school libraries. And I don't really know exactly what we'll do exactly about it, but if anyone's interested in that topic or like doing something, I thought that was pretty cool that we could take on. If that's like, I don't know, I thought it was a cool opportunity.
Definitely continue our work, like uplifting Native people. I think that's a good idea, Yana. If we want to talk about the next meeting, that'd be cool. All right. Anything else? Or do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I motion.
Thanks, Lauren. Here a second.
I second.
I second.
Thanks, Nick. Emanuela,
Yes.
Alyssa,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Summer,
Yes.
Yana,
Yes.
Jenna,
Yes.
and William.
Yes.
Awesome. I mean, officially adjourned.